Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session so far, the sell side has been dominant, but responsive buyers have been defending the 10 to 12 area. Heading into the open, we have pre-market support at 10 half to 12 half and the overnight low at 09 quarter. As long as ES is holding above the zone, we know that it's still maintaining the recent short-term balance, and holding above it means that we're still technically balancing within a range. And on the upside, we have these short-term resistance areas, which can be short-term hurdles on the way up. But as long as we're holding above 10 half to 12 half, the market is technically just stuck in a range. But in the overnight session, the sellers have been more dominant, and continuing to balance at lower prices could eventually lead to a move lower into the 02 half to 04 half support, possibly 1898. And below that, we have the bull bear zone at 1890 to 93. On the upside, pre-market resistance 18 half to 20 half is the near-term resistance. Above that, we have resistance at 25 half to 27 half, and then 31 to 33 is really the important area on the upside. And unless we get a strong break above initial resistance or below pre-market support, we know that the market is simply balancing within a range, and we'll have to be a little bit more careful on initiating trades within that balance, because if there's no real underlying momentum and the market is very neutral during the regular trading hours, then we can continue to balance and chop around. Nasdaq's holding up a little bit better compared to the S&P. S&P has been a bit more weak in the overnight session. So right now, with the overnight bias being bearish and the short-term bias being neutral, just have to be very careful on the trades that are initiated. You don't want to get caught in the chop, and you really want to be in tune with the real-time momentum situation. So keep an eye on the NYC tick. It's a very good gauge for immediate momentum, and I'd be careful going against that momentum on a day like today, because right now, even if we break the 10 half to 12 half, responsive buyers can be active at the support zones below, and we can still continue to balance in a range. So unless we're seeing excessive weakness in the market and the other markets are breaking down as well, the markets could simply be expanding this recent range a bit, and we can go down and test the larger breakout at 02 half to 04 half, possibly even lower, and then find responsive buyers at those support areas, either at initial support 1898 or even the 90 to 93 bull bear zone, and then still continue to balance within a range. The econ counter is really light, not really a whole lot going on. No market moving earnings reports that we're waiting on. So today could be a balance type session. How the market reacts to 10 half to 12 half is really going to set the tone and bias for the early morning activity. So if we break below 10 half to 12 half, then we know that the bearish bias from the overnight session is continuing into RTH, and a break below 10 half to 12 half would be a confirmation of that. And at the very minimum, we can go down and test 02 half to 04 half. That's an area where the buy side can be active, but if the other markets are breaking down on heavy volume and ES is heading down on strong downside momentum, excessive weakness, heavy volume, then even that's a zone where we would need to be a bit more careful. The 90 to 93 bull bear zone is a high odds area for a reaction on first test. On the upside, like I said, 31-33 is key, but each of these pre-market resistance zones is still a hurdle along the way, and it is resistance until taken out. Beyond 31-33, we have 38 to 40 as resistance, and then 43 quarter to 45.75 and 46 half are both larger time frame areas of resistance. So in the event that we actually get up there, which is seeming low probability at this time, those would be valid areas for the sell side to be active again. So right now, like I said, very balanced environment, neutral bias, which calls for caution, and just be very selective off the open here. So those are the main ideas heading into the open. Let's see how the market reacts to the pre-market support zone. That'll help set the tone for the day, and we'll take it from there.